Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Seen Beyond and Through with Monty. Right before you are some recent videos in which I have uploaded. And one of these videos has caused a bit of a controversy. Well, actually, all of them have, but one in particular still has a lot of comments and feedbacks coming in. Can you guess which one? Okay, if you guess this one, you are correct. This was a recent video about TV personality Niecy Nash. Niecy Nash recently got married, and I thought sure that I had made my intentions and opinions very well known in the video, but unfortunately many didn't get it, and they chose to hear something that I did not say, therefore choosing to believe something that I do not think. Now, in this particular video about Niecy Nash, her recent wedding to Jessica Beats, there were comments like this. You can read them for yourself. They're circled. And there were some more on their page. Okay, so it seems like people took it that I was stating that the lesbian wedding of Niecy Nash was a recipe for disaster because it was a lesbian wedding. And some people thought that I was taking a jab at the LGBTQ community, which I definitely was not. Had you would have paid attention. Basically, what I was getting at, which is what this video is about, is Niecy Nash being taken advantage of. Now, what I was referring to, people, and what I'm going to have to make absolutely clear, this is about the emotional and mental state that Niecy Nash was in, she may be still in. So it was never to take a dig at the LGBT community at all. I would never do that, considering that I happen to be part of the community. Now, people, here's the thing. Let's get into this. Niecy Nash was married for like 12 years to Jay Tucker. Anyone who's going through a divorce, it is very painful, extremely painful. And she let her feelings be known about her divorce. Just weeks before her marriage, which her divorce ended, I believe a couple of months before, she stated, "How am I living now?" And this was on 6/8/20 of this year. So this was actually just a couple of months before her marriage. Niecy Nash stated that she was an effing wreck. So the point of this video is to say, and that emotional state that she was in, and I believe she's still in, because she's only human, and it takes a while to come through and to get through that. The question would be, was she taken advantage of? Because when people are very vulnerable through the state of a loss. That can cause them not to think properly, not to rationalize and figure things out. It can cause them to want to cover that pain up. Some people use drugs, alcohol, medications. Some people shop. Some people choose to go into another relationship. And going into a marriage is a way of covering things up. Because you're planning a wedding, you're picking out a dress, you're getting the guest list ready, you're picking out a venue, you're cake testing, you're food testing, you're on this emotional high. In effect, you're putting a Band-Aid over the problem. And I say Band-Aid because it's temporary. And people can see this. Particularly people who are very close to you. As she stated, her partner was a longtime friend. So Niecy Nash was going through all of that. And just a couple of months later, she's thrown a bouquet at a wedding. And here's my opinion. What type of a person would choose to marry someone who is devastated, who's down, who is not emotionally strong, who's vulnerable, who states that she was an effing wreck just months prior? If it was true love, if you truly love someone, I would think that a mature person would say or think, I want to make sure that you're able to make a rational decision about a very life-changing event. I want to make sure that emotionally you're at your best. I want to make sure that you know exactly what you are doing and this is what you want. So maybe we should hold off until you get counseling, if you're not going through it, therapy, until you have time to heal your wounds. Only a predator, in my opinion, would sneak in there very fast and pick a very vulnerable person up and choose to wife them up or husband them up. So in Hollywood, people can have a lot of ulterior motives. Niecy Nash is very well known. She's worth $4 million. Jessica Biel, I'm not sure how much she's worth. I don't think it's worth what Niecy Nash is worth. I've never heard of her until Niecy Nash. So therefore, that is the question. What do you guys think? Do you think this is predatory behavior? And it just has all the markings and signs on it to me, which is why my first video about Niecy Nash and Jessica Biel's wedding was titled A Recipe for Disaster. It was never about because they are a lesbian wedding is a recipe for disaster. It was never about the LGBT community that their weddings are going to be a recipe for disaster. So, let's just go on this again. Niecy Nash, 50, says she was not suppressing her sexuality when with Man, adding that she fell for Jessica Beats 41 because of her soul. I love who I love. So remember this. She touched on how in a new issue of People, 50-year-old Claus actress explains she was thrilled with her new choice to be with the knot to choice to tie the knot with the musician. She goes on to state that I've got the greatest love of my life. I couldn't be happier, said the Hollywood veteran. And she added that it really makes no difference what gender her spouse is. My marriage has absolutely nothing to do with gender, and it has everything to do with her soul, said the star. She is the most beautiful soul I've ever met in my life. So Niecy is declaring that she has a very soul-to-soul connection. So basically, to me, you have a straight woman marrying a lesbian woman. That to me is also a recipe for disaster. Because usually with these unions, eventually the fog clears, she comes out of the funk, and realize that there is a big difference sexually between the needs of a straight sexual female and a lesbian female. You have to look at, is Niecy really going to be into having sex with a female? Because marriage is just not all about a beautiful soul. People have needs, they have wants, and they have desires. And I stated before with the soul-to-soul connection, for those of you who have not caught the other video, do catch it. But there was a well-known Hollywood actress who married a well-known now TV a character or personality. Anne Heche said the exact same thing, or rather something similar about Ellen, where she stated that it goes on during the interview with Oprah, in which they held hands and fielded questions about their relationship from both the talk show host and the homophobic audience members. Not only were they both out, they were out and in love. Heche said during the interview that things went click when she first laid eyes on DeGeneres. Our souls connected. There was a time when souls come together and they were just meant to be. My soul was meant to be with hers, and that's all that matters, she says. That is something eerily similar that they said over 20 years ago that Niecy Nash is saying today. And eventually, Miss Anne Heche ended up leaving Ellen and getting back with a man. So people have to understand right here. Niecy Nash is well known. She's a veteran. Jessica is not. You know, people can definitely use you and take advantage of people and their situations in which they're in. I have no idea if that's what Jessica's about. I do not think it was a good idea for Niecy Nash to get married in her state right now. Not even, 4 months after a divorce? I'm not even sure she knows what's going on. When I say what's going on, with her emotional being and things like that, and able to make a rational decision. Because pain can cause you to make very irrational decisions. It can cause you to do things that you would not normally do if you were not in pain, emotional pain, mental anguish. The last thing that you need to be doing is rushing into a marriage, even planning one. The last thing that a person would want you to do who truly loves you and want the best for you is for you to be married and not really sure that this is what you would do. And not really sure if this is what you would do if you did not go through such a devastating event as a divorce. So I look at this kind of side eye and think that this is no different than taking advantage of someone who's on drugs, who's drinking, who's not mentally sound, who could be emotionally or mentally challenged. And at this state right now, in my opinion, Niecy Nash is emotionally challenged, which makes her very vulnerable. So, in ending, if it's true love, we root for it. Anything other than that, it's almost like, well, God will take care of it. And she seems happy there, of course. So, you're putting a Band-Aid on the situation. That's just my opinion. I'm not going to change it. I think that it was way too early. Too early. If this was me, I would have stood by someone through getting emotionally stronger and better. And maybe someone did not want to do that, because had that person would have gotten stronger and better, they may have taken a different route. And let's talk about souls being beautiful, a soul-to-soul connection. We all have friends who are beautiful souls, who are beautiful people. Our souls do click. But that doesn't mean that we should go out and marry them. So that soul-to-soul connection, with marriage, you need a lot more than that. I mean, you need communication, you need trust, you need compatibility. Yes, you need the soul-to-soul connection with that. You need friendship, communication. If I didn't say that, there's so much more going on that you need. A soul-to-soul connection without those things right there is going to dry up. So people, this is another video I've done. I'm just going to make an analogy here. See right there's a picture of Niecy Nash and her partner. And there's a picture of a black dog and a chocolate cake. This video was entitled Things That Can Harm a Child's Mindset. And basically, it was touching on the fact that how children are conditioned to see symbols or things of symbols, and what they do is that they cannot rationalize it properly later on. A devil's chocolate cake is connected towards devil's food. Black dogs or cat are the last to be adopted, the most to be put away, put to sleep. And the white wedding dresses right there, where them wearing white, is symbolizing purity. Now, I could have done better than that. As I looked at that, I should have left their pictures out and just put a white wedding dress on. So that right there was, again, not talking about a lesbian wedding. And this is just to say that when you come across a video like Niecy Nash, lesbian wedding, a disaster, recipe for disaster, maybe it would be a good idea to take time and watch the video before you respond. That way, it would give you a better understanding as to what you should write. Tell me what you think. Do you think it was too early for Niecy Nash to get married? Do you think maybe her partner had ulterior motives? Do you believe that Niecy Nash should have waited? She needed therapy? Let us know. If you like this video, feel free to comment. Feel free to subscribe. And with that, that was another edition of Seeing Beyond and Through with Monty. And I will see you beyond and through.